Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LC Productions. You are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Complicated, the series currently airing on Tubi. This is season 2, episode 2. I think it was entitled Losing Control. I didn't write it down. But anyways, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Like this video. You can also subscribe to my channel and leave your comments below. And I do want to apologize. I was supposed to have this out yesterday, but things got complicated. All right, so let's get into it. Okay, so we start off with Erica. She comes to her marital home, and you'll understand why I'm putting some emphasis on that. And she finds out that Chase has changed the locks. So she's sitting there knocking and all that. And of course, a nosy neighbor, Miss Alma, is asking, is everything all right? And she's like, everything's fine. You just changed the lock. So I didn't know you could do that. Really, ma'am? Really? You nosy and you trying to get all of whatever's going on. Erica's trying to cover, but also losing it at the same time. She's knocking in a panic mode, and then finally she snaps off at Miss Alma and she goes on about her Karen offended way. So Chase finally comes to the door, and this dude only has a conversation at the doorway. And Erica wants to talk, but all Chase wants to do is for Erica to give him an apology and to get the rest of her effing stuff and never return from his house. He made emphasis of saying that. And Erica's like, look, why can't you just be reasonable a little bit? I'm human. And Chase was like, you could have told me about the baby. I agree. Erica goes into, well, losing the child is something that was really traumatic. I'm like, well, Erica, that's not an excuse. Like, why do you have a husband, a partner, and you can't tell him about a baby you lost that was pre your relationship? He's now accusing you of having an affair. I think that's a little bit later. Whatever. But I understand Chase being angry, but I think it's still also being unreasonable. I understand being lied to during your whole relationship, and you can feel very betrayed by that. But it's just, it's like if you still weigh it, it's like, are you going to be this upset where every other word is F you and very insulting, saying this is my house, this is my money, I done wasted all of these years. Our relationship is based off a lie. I don't think it's based off a lie. I think that you never got the whole person of Erica, if I can say it in that way. He started talking about baby daddy stuff. So finally Erica snaps, and I'm so glad, and really goes off on him on she's really sick of his racist microaggressions, treating her like some type of field ninja up in her home. She said that this may have been later, but I'm kind of getting it mixed up between the two scenes that they had, but it's a house that she helped build, and she tried to be the submissive person that he wanted all this time, and basically you're just like your father. And that right there got to Chase, and at that point Erica regretted it right away, but I think it needed to be said. But it's going to paint a path that we're going to see later on in this season. So either way, that pissed off Chase, and he closed the door on her. Chase goes back inside, and he's talking with Ava. I think it's Ava, or is it Allison? I forgot which one it is. Anyways, Erica then found her way up in the house as Ava and Chase are talking via Zoom. Ava is telling Chase that she saw Erica with this black guy, and he was strange. And I was like, wait a minute. I get easily offended, Ava, Allison. I forgot which one you are. So anyways, Erica comes in and sees them talking. So she said, you couldn't wait to get me out of this house. Are you about to move this side HOE or 304? I'm trying to be YouTube friendly, y'all. So you gonna move this up in my house? Da 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 da. And then, of course, Chase and Erica are going back and forth. Ava decided to chime in and saying, I'm not that. Don't call me that. And I'm so glad that Erica slammed down that computer. Now, nobody wants to be called a 304, of course. Did you really have to insert yourself? You know the circumstances. You know this man is having some type of acquaintance with you that he's not being truthful to his wife about. I think you should have just sat there and ate your greens or pumped out the breast milk for your baby. But anyways, she finally slams down that computer and they have this talk, da-da-da-da-da. He switches the conversation, which is similar to how Erica was when she wanted to start talking about Ava. Ava said that she saw you with a black guy, so you're cheating on me already, da-da-da-da-da. And Erica don't want to talk about it. And then all of a sudden, Erica leaves, and now Chase wants to have a talk. No, y'all want to talk about stuff that you don't want to be responsible and held accountable for. And that's basically Erica. She don't want to really still talk about the pregnancy or whatever. She's giving excuses as to why she held onto the secret all this time. So both, at this point, don't want to admit that they're wrong and how they have treated each other within this marriage. But anyways, even after all the analytics, I still need for Chase to come outside. We just want to have a talk, Chase. We need to talk. Come on outside. Come on outside. Stay out that doorway and come outside, please. Okay, so at the hospital, Calvin wakes up. He's had his surgery, and he wants to know what's going on. Devin has been staying there day and night, and she also wakes up, and Devin's ready to go get the doctor or someone that can explain what's been going on. And Calvin's like, no, why don't you tell me, blah, 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 blah. And then he realizes he can't feel his legs. So at this point, Devin goes and gets the doctor. The doctor explains that, of course, he was shot in his spine, and he's had some type of lead poisoning back there. Right now, his spine is swollen, and of course, that's explaining why he cannot feel his legs. Calvin wants to know if he's going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. And the doctor said, no, it's touch and go right now. We have to see what's going to happen after the swelling goes down. So he's not saying that you're going to be paralyzed. And at this point, Devin's seeing Calvin lash out. She's being his apologist. 1 minute, see, this was the most crazy thing. Calvin was like, tell me everything you know. At first, the doctor comes in, and then she's like, as Devin's trying to help him understand what the doctor is saying, like, we got one doctor in here, woman. I'm like, oh, so is there some sexism up in there, Calvin? But anyways, Calvin threatens the doctor as if he can make him walk. I mean, you ain't talked to Jesus yet, Calvin. I don't think he heard from you for a while. You better get to praying. But I know your arrogant and prideful self is not going to humble yourself for that. But anyway, he's talking about, did he say burn this hospital down? Handicapped and all? Sir, you literally can't walk, and you sit up here making threats. You need to be like the dad on Beauty and the Black. What's his name? I forgot. If y'all watch Beauty and the Black, Tyler Perry on Netflix, this is what Devin should do. Get a cane and whack-a-doodle him. But anyways, the doctor leaves, and then he lashes out at Devin, saying that you're enjoying this. And she said, what? You probably had something to do with it. Next thing you know, Devin grabs her stuff, and she's going out the door. I said, good for you, Devin. I would really love to know what was going on in your head. Of course, you said that Calvin was not perfect by far, courtesy of me. But it's like you returned back to your role as his wife, as his supporter. Y'all haven't had any type of conversation, but you were there to rush to him, despite how he treated you all of this time. I just want to know what's going on in your head in regards to that, because he hasn't been nice to you. But anyway, she grabs her stuff and goes. And then Calvin first was like, what are you doing? Deuces. And then he's like, fine, leave like you always do, or run like you always do. But didn't you literally throw her out the last time? So you saying that she running? I don't know. And this is shocking, but I'm defending Devin season 2. I don't know what these writers are doing to me, but hey, like Calvin, because I was more on Calvin's side last season, but hey, I think things change as you get another perspective. So anyways, after Devin leaves, Calvin begins to cry. So although we're looking at him being this mean-spirited person, acting like he don't need nobody, obviously, thank God for the actor, Mr. Bryn Mosley, who's able to show layers and the complexity of the character of Calvin, knowing that he can be vulnerable, but he won't show it to the right people at the right time. Obviously, he did not want to be abandoned like that. So we head down to Val's shop, and Jalen shows up, and Miss Val said, "I know you effing lying." He's showing up. He's got a bouquet of flowers and all this stuff, and wants to have a talk. She said, "I know you didn't come up here with this Rico Suave ASS suit. You played me in many ways, but to come to my shop, you're not gonna play with my money. Da 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 da. And matter of fact, how did you know where I worked at? What, are you following me?" Of course, I remember last week's episode, the wall of weird is what I called it to be. Of course, he wants to have a talk, but she's not having it. He comes closer to her. I think he reached out to her, but anyways, she hurried up and smacked him away and basically said, "Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Take your Trader Joe roses." I said, "Lord." And out of season suit, out of here. Lord. Lord, Valerie, you just done kick the man while he down. Not that he's not deserving of it. So he goes outside, gets in his car, and calls Erica and says, "Hey, we haven't finished our talk. I need to talk with you." He's taking these pills, and for the second time, in the last episode, we heard him say, "I'm okay." He says it again. "I'm okay. I'm okay." Anytime he's in some type of rejective state, it seems like he gets a little manic to me, from what I'm seeing. So later on at Val's shop, there is a woman that's trying on dresses. Her name is Maria. She's new to the cast, and we're noticing something about Maria. And she is having these seductive eyes and seductive sayings that Valerie's not catching on to right away. But we're seeing the lust and this interest in Val. Maria goes and tries on another dress that Val will be altering for her. And then this guy shows up. We find out it's Maria's husband, and his name is Neil. It's not mentioned in this episode, but I went on IMDb because I need to know who I'm referring to. Neil comes in and is very complimentary to Val and also seductive. Val right away was picking up on it, but Maria was coming out. She's like, "Oh, let me move out of here." So then this couple join forces together, and they're speaking to her like she's merchandise on the shelf. Basically, we know that there's some type of interest there that's she's now really picking up on, but I think Val is kind of like me. I may sense something, but you're going to reveal your hand. And that's kind of like what she's doing. Next scene, Zay. He's playing basketball with one of his friends. And the dude says, "It looks like you have a lot of potential to be a ball player. You ever thought about doing it?" Da, 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 da. He's like, "Well, I'm quite old right now, so there's no really real point in me really pursuing after this." His friend hands him a card talking about this Big Brother program and telling him never to give up on his dreams. Now, I will say, if it's to go to the NBA, I would not try to make that dream happen. I mean, as we know, as the longevity of an NBA player can go, you know, some can go for 10, 15 years right out of high school or at least right out of college. I'm just saying, choose wisely, Zay. But still never give up on your dreams, but maybe alter them a little bit. Kennedy shows up. She did text him to say, "Hey, I found your location. I'm coming to you." Zay already has an attitude. Kennedy says, "Hey, I never meant for this to happen." And Zay called BS. And she says, I was hacked. I would never want this to happen to anyone, blah, 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 blah. And he's not believing it. And Kennedy says that Dante did this. And then he says, oh, we're blaming the boyfriend? And Kennedy's like, what do I have to gain? And Zay was like, I don't know, but I don't play about my family. So you don't know what Kennedy has to gain from this. What is the benefit from it? But you're putting all the blame on her, and it's unreasonable. Kennedy says, when I found out that Dante did this, I packed my stuff and I left. And then he had to get all smart and said, oh, you need a place to stay? You need a ride? Another ride? And I'm like, Lord, sir, you laying it on pretty thick. You didn't like Dante in the first place. Shorty told you at some of his behavior, maybe not his professional behavior or whatever, blah, 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 blah. But it's like, why can't you just hear her out? But anyways, he wasn't hearing it, and he leaves her there. Let's see. Did we have another scene? So, back at Val's shop again. Maria and Neil. Val sitting in the chair, and the couple sitting over there googly eyeing her. And she's like, what y'all want? Because unless you are buying that dress, Maria, there's nothing that we need to talk about. And I forgot who offered it or presented it. Let's have dinner. And Val was like, no, I don't mix business with pleasure. All of a sudden, Maria says, wear something sexy, and we will have a car. I'll come pick you up. They're quite aggressive, and they're going to get what they want out of this whole situation. And Val said, you do know I didn't say yes. And basically, they say, we'll meet you. As they're leaving, Maria leaves out first, and the husband comes by Val and kisses her on the forehead. Yeah, Val, you could have shut that down easily, but obviously there's some type of curiosity there. So we got to see exactly what's going to happen between these three. Back at the hospital, Calvin gets a visitor, and it's Dante. We find out that there's an unholy alliance. And Calvin freaks out and says, what if somebody sees you? Dante starts talking about the shooting. Calvin, this wasn't a part of the plan. Oh, you think this was a part of the plan for me to get shot? Well, all of this is going haywire and all this stuff. Dante just says, I need my money. So, at least in my brain, it seems like Dante was hired by Calvin to release that video. Calvin says, I have to figure some things out. But, in the meanwhile, don't bring your ass up here again. I said, Lord, so this is really getting crazy, and the plot thickens. But before the thickening of the plot, Detective Dion Fitzgerald comes to the hospital, and he wants to see Calvin. Outside, Dante gets in a car, and guess who is in the car? I done forgot her name, but Kennedy's stepmammy is in that car. I said, what? So they are in an alliance too? So Dante says he's alive. And she says, we could be next. I said, what? She also asked, I think her name is it Melanie? Anybody else? Was anybody else there with them? He said, no, just somebody was going in as soon as I was coming out. Dante says, I just want my money. Anything else y'all got going on, that's between y'all. Melanie, I think it was. Ooh, I'm sorry, but I'll get it right the next episode. We need to lay low, and hopefully we dodge this bullet. Because they're going to be coming after us. Who is they? Well, you always knew I had two suspects. It was either her or the fiance was the one that popped out Calvin. But I guess we got to see what happens. But that was quite a twist at the end of this episode. So bravo to the cast, to the writers, directors, and everyone. We're off to an interesting ride in this season 2. Yeah, there's a lot to think about as far as the actions of how people are acting during this episode and all that good stuff. So I'm enjoying it. Thank you for stopping by. Like this video, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Until the next one, peace.